Greetings and welcome to a Wednesday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is February 11th. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I'm doing fantastic. Not only am I in the sweet home Chicago, the city of Chicago with you fellas, I also just had something great come across my desk. I learned, it was a really informative piece on social media about how to be a guest at a country club that I really enjoyed.
You're figuring it out. You're learning your way around. That's where you go.
I didn't know I needed it, but I watched it through and learned a couple of pointers about how I should be.
The content you didn't know you needed, right? Don't take a leak and raise creek. I mean, what other the rules are there?
I think the thing I learned the most is just don't talk. That seemed to be the overriding message. Don't talk. Don't be yourself to ensure you get invited back.
There's probably people who need it. Is the sad, is the real part. We're in Chicago. It's exciting. We're here. We've got almost a full week, and then we have the live show coming Thursday. Tickets still available. We need to procure some instruments so we can deliver on that, electronic, alternate, whatever sound that the AI bots have. Have promised.
What are you thinking for stage presence?
I don't even know what that means. Like, what does that mean?
I think that means can you bring people in?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, I think I don't even know. I think we're just ourselves usually is what we do. And hopefully that
not
comes
if you're
across
going to a country club though.
Self-deprecating and approachable.
I might use some of the tips I just learned for the live show.
Yeah, when I go to a country club, I turn off the stage presence, put a stick on my ass, and just waddle around and be quiet. That's what I do. Stage presence is not something I had contemplated. I'm excited to be here. You're already giving us the lay of the land. You're talking about PJ popped you last night. Like, you got to learn how to walk in Chicago. In Chicago, we don't wait for the cars. And just start walking. PJ's like, jaywalking only available in Chicago. Only PJ popped you.
You went into a great Chicago establishment this morning. You went into the Capital One Cafe.
There's so much culture around here. We're a stone's throw away. We could literally hit the Cutoff Man, and we'd hit the front door of an Athleta, a Viore, and a Lululemon. And then I was in a rush to get coffee. And I went into everybody's favorite multinational credit card conglomerate, Capital One, for some coffee. It's just across the street. I had only a couple minutes. I have a low bar. I'm not some sort of snob. It's terrible. There were more people hawking credit cards. There were two at the front door trying to get me to sign up for a credit card, and only one barista. And everybody's waiting for their fancy.
Was it busy?
Yes, it was jammed. All these,
Do you pay for the coffee?
Yes, they asked me if I'm a Capital One. I was like, no, I've got Chase. I never contemplated such a thing.
Do you get a free coffee if you're a Capital One card?
I don't know how it works. I didn't have one.
That seems like a fair trade.
It's not.
We're gonna hammer you with fees and all sorts of stuff.
Unless you, it was packed with,
but you get free coffee.
Yeah, no, it's not very good. If free wouldn't be still worth it. It's not very good. This was a refill. I did find a local coffee shop, but yeah, just burgeoning with culture around here, the Capital One Cafe. We're excited to get going here in Chicago. Let's jump in. We had a few people message and reach out, just clean up from Phoenix, that we didn't address. What I guess now is being termed, at least in a Golf Digest headline, is Chairgate. And I think we just need to, that's in the Golf Digest headline, Chairgate. That we didn't talk about Hideki maybe getting jammed by some unruly fans to finish up Phoenix. We're rushing through trying to get done before the Super Bowl. That turned out to be terrible anyways.
I think we should have gone right up against the Super Bowl and gone the whole time. And I think we would have picked up a lot of people, depending on what time, various times, people uninterested in the game. There seemed to be a lot of spice about the halftime show. There was a lot of people that were upset, lots of people that were happy, lots of people changing the channel. I think we could have just really made a splash there.
We just alternate programming. Anyways, one thing I've learned about social media is that the opinions held there are very much more extreme than we're all pretty much mellowed out everywhere else and pretty normal. I think people are generally better than you would think. watching social media in one way or another. But yes, a lot of takes about the actual halftime show that I don't know reflect the reality. So what do you make of this? There was this theory that, they have got some garish, gargantuan DraftKings sportsbook on site, and these are drunks with the ticket against Hideki, and he got shouted at in his putt in regulation.
I thought
18.
the putt was like just an early get in the hole yell. It felt like.
Okay.
That's what I didn't do any prep to read, but it felt like it was that when I was watching it in the moment, that's what I thought it was.
And then the chair gate was apparently some volunteer who dropped a chair, which harkens back to that WGC in Austin when someone slammed the porta potty door, and John Rahm blew his lid about that. So it turns out there was all this notion that this was some people trying to influence the outcome, which we know is a potential peril of inviting gambling into golf in a way that fans can really affect the competition. But it seems like maybe it was just drunk people in Phoenix in a mishap with a volunteer. That's all. I don't think we needed a ton of comment.
I don't think we needed comment there. I do think we needed to address something else that I feel like I let down the rope. I'm disappointed in myself. I knew that, Scottsdale, Siwoo was staring me right in the face as a pick.
Yeah.
Hideki was staring me right in the face as a pick.
Sure.
And I went with just a guy, Jordan Spieth, who missed the cut.
I followed your lead in a one that I pay for, and I took Jordan Spieth in like a side game that I've actually paid for with friends.
I was really disappointed, but I wasn't as disappointed as Spieth Legion was on the week. And I wanted to read through just tweets from Spieth Legion, obviously the unofficial fan club
tracker or something
of Jordan Spieth on Twitter. This is from Friday, and I thought this would just be a fun exercise to go through here. These are his tweets in succession while he's following the round.
Walking the round, or do we know?
I think he was walking because it starts with service is horrible RN right now. So apologies for the lack of updates if they aren't sending. Next tweet. There is no service today. LOL. Next tweet. We found service and Spieth is cooked as hell. Fight, all caps. Beauty at 2, 3 feet for par.
Fight.
Walks in a birdie at 3, exclamation marks. Poor chip at 4, leave 7 feet.
So this is every hole, essentially.
Yeah, horrible putt, back to even for the event. Can't make a putt at a course he putts better than most. Trouble. Maybe that is a representation of his career in recent years.
Fair.
Used to make a lot of putts that nobody makes, and now it doesn't make them anymore. I don't think I've seen Spieth get it to the hole once all week, Caps. Putts, irons, doesn't matter. Everything is short.
We have a disgruntled fan. This is not just a blind allegiance here. This is like a guy getting mad at the offensive coordinator or something.
Another putt on 8 left short, and there's a gif of like a emoji with his hands up exploding. Short on 9, turns in +1. Large putt at 10. It's insane how every time he holds his pose, it falls. Leaves his putt on 12, 10 feet short, booed off the 12th green. I'm sad. All right, this is really the best one.
Dire Straits on the island.
It's a real emotional scene today following here.
Emotional.
One of his best courses in every hole. Everyone's talking about how he's not that guy anymore and how he stinks. Just really sad to hear. And he just can't make a putt to prove them wrong.
Emotional scene? For who? This person?
Spieth fans, yeah. Unplayable coming at 13. He's stuck inside a bush. Pars after a drop. This guy better make the cut. Bad scene, bad news for you. A great shot into 14 has us left with a fantastic chance to basically solidify the cut. Come on, Jordan. Nope. Pulls lumber at 15. Feels like this shot will decide if he plays the weekend. Clubs up from the hybrid to 3-wood. We're getting live updates here. Splash.
Oh, no.
almost holds it. This guy, man. On 16 with a birdie look, long ways away, par here, birdie 17. Let's book a tee time, man. Bogey. Has to birdie the last two. This is just insane.
Then doesn't he hit it in the water on 17?
Splash.
Yeah, right.
I'm done. Laughing my ass off. From 18 to his ball, he kept his head down the whole way. Almost seems like he truly believed in something the last few weeks, and it hasn't worked. He's so deflated. Looks simply confused. Heartbreaking. I don't even have any thoughts. Didn't think he could possibly miss the cut here. I have no words. I'm in a state of dismay.
Emotional scene. State of dismay.
That's
God,
it.
you seem to be delighting a little bit too much in reading that recounting that round, his MC Hammer round on last Friday.
I mean, I picked him. I went down with the ship.
I know you did. You did. Emotional scene too, and you're one.
It was an emotional scene. I looked at my phone and said, "Why did I do this? Why did I take the 70th best golfer in the world?"
I would love who's like Wright Thompson or like Pablo Torre to do a dive into these tracker accounts or Legion accounts.
I mean, it seems like there's a lot of activity in the tracker account game
community. I come in peace. I don't want to, I don't know. These people might have pictures of these people all over the wall, and I don't know what's going on. I'm curious, not judgmental. But there was one from Rory, tracking Rory a week ago. It's been officially 3 years since I joined the team at Nuclear Golf. I will forever be grateful for the opportunity that I have. Nuclear is more than just a team. It's a family that continues to get stronger every year. I'm very curious about what's going on with this tracker community, who they are, where we have them for everybody. Martin Laird has a tracker.
I think we should start our own tracker accounts, and maybe PJ could man them. PJ, what do you think?
Who do you want me to track? Who am I going with?
I mean, Champions Tour guys.
Well, that's easy. That's Justin Leonard tracker's going to need some work this week.
I feel like we could have been the de facto toasty tracker had we.
I think we do that anyway.
It seems like it's very familial. It's family, and it's emotional. That the people are, this must come from Golf Channel's original Tiger Tracker, and now they're just proliferated to everything.
In other sports, do tracker accounts exist? I guess they do.
Do they?
Yeah,
like Caleb Tracker.
It's the
other incomplete
the
path
Stat Muse accounts, Caleb Muse or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are pretty big.
Yeah.
What's up with the general one? The one that always has a wartime feel to it. Have you seen
the
those?
Captain Luck?
Yeah.
The Captain Andrew Luck?
Yeah.
That was that guy, and then everybody else copied him, I think.
That was a ripoff of what we used to do. And we came up with that, and then they ripped it off and made it a very popular Twitter account. Speaking of Twitter, update, just keeping people aware, Sunday Red's latest collection, inspired by Southern California's vibrant blues and golden yellows mixed with 90s throwback style. The all caps First Light collection channels the energy of a place where progress becomes a daily practice, not a final destination. Again, we're talking about clothes that I think are just fine. I've enjoyed Sunday Red's offering. But yes, progress becomes a daily practice, not a final destination.
I think listen, that's inspirational. That's
just keeping you in the loop.
All brands are trying to, make themselves more than just a piece of clothing. And that one inspires me.
Daily
progress.
Just not the destination.
It's
You're
part
wearing
of my
your polo
practice.
shirt. Let's get to the busy week for the tracker community with everybody on hand at Pebble Beach, the AT&T National Pebble Beach Pro-Am, first signature event of the season.
Event of the week. There aren't many events to choose from. The DP World Tour seems to have a very convenient week off with the news that broke, with the Epstein inclusion.
Yeah. Apparently, the chair of DP World, which would have an association with DP World Tour, seems to have some receipts and some interesting, troubling documents in the Epstein files.
Might be time to go back to just the European Tour.
It might be. And now they're in Kenya, of course, which is not Europe next week. So who knows? But names, who cares? What's in the name? Yeah, the Epstein files have a few golf connections. They have connections to everything.
We never talked about Rory's plane being included.
Oh,
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Epstein and his pilot or whatever were talking about. They felt like Rory got a bad deal. He got mugged off
because
on his plane.
His plane was parked next to Epstein's pilot deal or something.
Yeah.
Some hangar in Florida.
Thought Rory paid too pretty of a penny for the plane.
Yeah.
You know?
It's interesting. There's connections.
I think it was $22 million with a $2 million interior renovation.
It's in there. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to appear on the files, that's probably a good way.
It's a great
the association.
Great way
not to be in the. There's other ways to appear. That's a good one, I suppose. Relatively.
You know what I was thinking about? This is sometimes you think about like, oh, it'd be nice to be a political reporter. There's always stuff going on to talk about.
Sure.
You never have to conjure stuff up, but people said, we were going to have trouble going 3 days a week. There was not enough to talk about. Well, I'd say all the people that were talking now, are podcasting more often.
That's right. They jumped on board with the frequency there. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I was thinking about how dire and kind of depressing life covering the Epstein files would be right now, where like you wake up, you have like breakfast and coffee with your family, and it's like, okay, I'm going to dive in. And you basically are just reading this like pedophile's email till 5 p.m. And then you clock out and you're like, all right, like I need a shower. Like think about the day.
Yeah, I mean it's not reading Spieth Legion. I'll tell you that. It's a little more dark. I know that. Yeah, there's some golf connections though, and now this one appears to be with the head honcho at DP World, and it doesn't look good on paper.
It does not look good.
Appearing in the Epstein files and then being a part of the sinister. There's a leap between that. There's obviously a prominent head of a golf agency. You have musicians quitting a certain agency from someone appearing that they also represent a lot of golfers. Chappell Roan being a musician. Like, I don't know. Who knows how this goes? But guilt of being involved in that and just appearing in the files are two very separate things. I would just note.
I'll tell you what, I'd congratulate the agents and golfers that broke away last year. Maybe they knew this was coming down the pipe. I know there's a lot of lawsuits going on with that.
Throwing grenades right now. I remember that. You're thinking back to that interview we did with Cam, and when we were getting rushed off the stage.
Yeah,
by Buddy Ball. All right, let's get to our first signature event of the week, or of the year, I should say. The AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am. Sponsors exemptions are back. Everybody's in the field. Notables: we have the Aeon 5. We have the Swing 10 from the fall. This will be on Golf Channel, 3 to 7, Thursday and Friday, 1 to 3, Saturday, Sunday, 3 to 7, CBS, 3 to 6:30, Sunday on CBS. Notables are Scheffler, Rory, his
Eastern.
Debut.
All those times are Eastern.
Yeah, we are in Central. I'm like throwing for a loop on Central here. I had a bunch of calls. My calendar's trying to update. Scheffler, Rory making his PGA Tour debut. Shane Lowry is bumped into Notables. Hideki, Victor Hovland, Xander Schauffele, and Justin Rose are the notables I have. So a big event. I'm very excited for this, and deservingly so, your event of the week. Let's do a quick odds check. Scotty is plus 260, which means he's between 2 and 3 to 1, essentially, to win. Next best is Rory at essentially 13 to 1. We are a gambling podcast, first, but I think it's a ridiculous, facile way to view players is just through odds, but it is notable when a guy is stats separate, 2 or 3 to 1 versus Rory, defending champ, 13 to 1 or something.
Especially somewhere he hasn't won.
Yeah, that's fair. I
wonder how he feels about, California laws and, things that are legal and illegal in California. I feel like it's a little bit, there's some lighter rules, and I wonder if that's why he hasn't won here.
Yeah, I would say there's too many restrictions. Wouldn't they say, like Sable Offshore is getting jammed by California's restrictions? Yeah. I thought. Our sponsors exemptions, we're going to do this all season, are 4.
Well,
Quad God.
Can I? I've got my 5 guys to monitor.
Okay, you want to do that first? Let's just jump right in.
Well, the 5 guys to monitor, I actually kind of cheated, and I wanted to introduce a game.
I love it. We love.
I wanted to introduce something that we can revel and track. Maybe we could. This could be the tracker, our first tracker account. Speaking of, first Shotgun Start tracker account.
Well, we're tracking Brooks and the mules too.
Yes.
We have 2 tracker
I
accounts
did like
now.
the animations.
Yeah, Scuba crushed it. Nailed it.
The mules.
It's perfect.
Do you think we need to bring on some people to be part of the family and run the tracker?
Well, we need to. It's a family. It's a family business.
Business Pete, we found a new business opportunity. Just tracking the hell out of everything. We need to allocate some funds.
So I think this is a great game within the game for the year.
Let us know.
There's 4 sponsors exemptions this week. There's 5 players that earned their way in the Aon Swing 5. I want to see sponsors exemptions versus Aon Swing 5 all year.
That's a great call.
So this week, the sponsor exemptions are Billy Horschel. I mean, he's the best TGL player. I think that's a worthwhile sponsor exemption. Also would be in this if he didn't get injured last year.
Oh, that's okay.
Your guy, you guys are just blowing up last night, and we were in a nice Chicago dive bar, and you guys are just roasting this fellow, Tony Finau. I don't know where all the Tony Finau hate has come from.
There's it's a lot of sizzle and no steak lately with Tony Finau. I saw he was dancing around the SoFi Dome yesterday, and Claire Rogers had a tweet like, "This is awesome. He needs to do this for at least 3 majors this year." I'll tell you what, he's exempt in 0. He needs to get exempt first before he starts his dance routines. That's
I just don't know where this came from. Tony Finau's been a borderline elite tour player for 10 years. What more do you want from him? That's like the life of a tour pro.
I just disagree.
He's old. He's like old now.
Well, what's on the resume now that he's old? I think it's a little.
Not everybody's
because he wears his Jordans. I'm not saying it, but he gets this treatment that he's like he's not done anything on a golf course in like 2 years, and we're treating him like he's Justin Rose or something. He gets all this pub because he wears the J's. I don't know. I mean, he won 7 times in his career. Okay. The creditors wouldn't know any different. That's fine. He was like a top 20 player for 5 years. That's a good career. All right. I'm not disparaging his career. I'm disparaging the sort of promotion of him dancing around. He's not even in majors. How can we talk? I don't know. It's just a lot of. He's been not very good at golf. You guys expect him. His career has run its course. We're on the downswing. Do you think that? Do you think that? Okay, I think it's why is he getting a sponsor's exemption? Well, that's because sponsor exemption shouldn't exist. Okay. And this is the reason we're tracking this. He's getting sponsor exemptions off of sizzle and not steak. His career's over. Your guy, Jordan Spieth, wouldn't be in this field without sponsors exemption. He got in fair and square. No, he didn't. He got in because he got a bunch of sponsors exemptions last year. That's fair. Who else we got? So it's Finau, Billy. Cashmere Keith. I mean, this is a favorite. I love Keith Mitchell. Yeah. But he is the soup du jour of of players that are marketed beyond their on course.
Well, he's a television talent. Really huge television talent.
People seem like legit very bullish on his TV future, but I don't know. We'll see. I think that you guys, the way you're going at Tony Finau is like insane. I mean, that's a guy that played on Ryder Cup and President's Cups for years. I'm not going at him. I appreciate Tony. I interviewed Tony. He was good. Good interview. All right. Keith Mitchell, and then finally Sahith Theegala. Now, this would be a great public money if we put this team of 4 up against this team of 5. There'd be so much public money on the sponsors exemption.
Yeah, because it's just the names. People would be into it. But the ball knowers.
So this is
Pearson Coody, and we're gonna slam that.
The Aon Swing 5 in order in which they got in: Pearson Coody, Ryo Hisatsuni. I got some respect on Hisatsuni's name. I love Hisatsuni. I mean, I think I'm at the top of his. All right, he's going to be playing on the President's Cup. He should be. I sent a picture to former Captain Immelman the other day. I was playing golf in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
I should have read up about this. I should have watched up. This was a private golf faux pas, apparently. I wore a zero restriction Team International pullover to a high profile private club.
What's wrong
and
with
immediately like 4 or 5 people were like, awesome jacket.
Oh,
wearing the shield. We love it.
I love that.
But I sent a picture to the former captain.
Yeah.
But Hai Satsuni, he's going to be wearing the shield.
He's going to be in that shield in a couple in this very place, Chicago.
Yeah, that's why we're here. We're doing Peak Cup reconnaissance now.
We are. As soon as the Super Bowl ends, we're on to the next big sporting event in America,
which is the Peak Cup.
And that's the Peak Cup. That's why we're here.
But anyways, Hai Satsuni will be a President's Cup stalwart.
I'm with you. So
one day we have to get to the bottom of what do you have to do to get described as a stalwart. And how this term is only used for golfers.
No,
like it's the Olympics right now. Nobody. What's the guy? The figure skater. That's like
the quad god. Ilya Melanin or something like that. Yeah.
Nobody's like he's a stalwart skater. But if it was golf, they'd be like, this is an Olympic stalwart.
He's a stalwart, like a lineman. He's a stalwart on the inside.
Nobody says that.
He's a stalwart of the Epstein files. I don't know. I don't know what they have. The Epstein. I don't know. There's options. That's fair. That's a very random pondering, but in line with
It's like you don't hear stalwart until you turn on Live From, and then it's like the only term that's used to describe a golfer.
Okay.
We can't be just like he's going to be a stud.
Yeah.
He's going to be a stalwart. Jake Knapp, everybody's favorite,
playing well. That's why he's in the A-on-5. Yeah.
Matt McCarty and Patrick Rogers. That's our 5.
So Cootie, Hisatsuni, Knapp, McCarty, and Rogers versus Finau, Horschel, Mitchell, Thagala.
This is a year-long challenge. The sponsors exemptions versus the Aon Swing.
The guys who played their way in.
Yeah.
The Merritt versus Sizzle. I like that. But are we doing 4v4? Are you going to drop the 5th Aon
we're going
guy
to drop
so it's just
5th.
4v4? Okay.
The Aon gets a little advantage. They're advantaged.
Yeah. Why? Because they're playing well, or they have an extra guy?
They have an extra guy.
They have a bench.
What do you think we should? How would you go about normalizing this, PJ?
Do we want to take the average of the 5?
I don't think the average would be good.
No, but I feel bad just dropping the worst guy. That's not exactly fair either.
Just drop the 5th guy that got in.
All right, so the top 4 of the Aon Swing 5?
Top 4. Okay, we'll do top 4.
Okay.
God, that's gonna hurt when P. Raj just
lights
it up this week.
Fair, but that's just the way it goes.
Are you on the team of the sponsors?
No.
Is everybody rooting for the Aon Swing 5?
Aon 5. I mean, I love it. This is a great idea.
I hope it's just like a landslide.
Brooksy thing. Yeah, just absolute woodshed. It'd be good.
I think this actually could really help us build some relationships with the mules if we popularize this.
Oh yeah.
The mules could be coming out in support of us.
Yeah.
If we have the sheet and present it at the end of the year and the Swing 5 dominates, do you think this might be the end of sponsor exemptions?
No.
Well, but also,
I mean,
it could be Aon's next great advertising campaign too.
With us.
They can come. Wow. We need some risk assessors or insurers or whatever Aon does. Let's do it.
God, I'd welcome Aon into our stable of sponsors. We could talk about like the risk reward whole profiles. Like,
they could become a stalwart of this program if they want to get.
I've learned a lot from them. Like the idea of if you hit the fairway, you're in better shape than if you hit it in the rough.
It's
like
good.
I didn't know that before. Aon
opened your eyes.
Yeah,
I love that.
They've opened my eyes to a lot of things. Do you want to keep going on?
Monitor 5 guys to monitor.
5 guys to monitor. That's number 1.
Okay,
that's the number 1 thing to monitor. That won't be moving forward, but I figured this would be a good spot to introduce that to. Up next, we already hit on them. The Spieth Legion. Spieth. I was planning to do Spieth Legion tweets during this, but we already did that. I don't know where we're going. This feels like, murderer's row of Spieth places is Scottsdale to here.
Yeah.
Do we need to see something?
Providing him as much leeway and benevolence as possible, I think yes. I do think so. I think you need to see some sign of life, understanding it's February 10th, and that the more quote unquote important golf is not coming for a few months or a month or two. I still think it's time to see something.
Okay.
What is something? Top 25? I'm not saying he needs to win. Like, come on, play some competitive golf rounds.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see like 3 above average rounds.
Yeah.
Up next, the number 2. Do you know who the number 2 player in the world is right now?
It's a good question. Rory? No,
it's Ryan Gerard, number 2 in the FedEx Cup.
Oh my God!
Hit you with a counter.
You
there.
got me. You set me up and you crossed me over. You got me going. I leaned and fell. That's good, Ryan Gerard.
I just this guy 2 second place finishes in a T11 on the year.
Did work
obviously
for me and one and done.
Made headlines he was catnip call of the week when there was nothing going on, when he flew to, what was it, Mauritius,
yes,
and got into the Masters. Now he's playing the guy is ascending, and my question is, are we going to see, is this going to carry over into the big time fields? He's doing it against the B Tour.
Yeah.
Does this translate to the A Tour? I think we saw a lot of signs last year that he was on the cusp of being a big time player.
Yeah. He did, just, we're not above recommending other competitors. He did apparently an interview with Smylie podcast and was like awesome, dynamic, really interesting, good guy. So I've watched a little bit of it, and I don't know. It sounds like he's got a lot of personality and fun guy too.
Did you get clarification if it's Gerard or Gerard?
I think it's Gerard.
Okay, it's Gerard. Obviously, big name. We'll put one big name in here. Rory McIlroy.
Okay.
First stateside start, obviously defending champion.
Yeah.
As we kind of go into the next couple of weeks, we've already seen Scotty make a splash, a statement. Last week maybe was a bigger statement than PGA West.
Fair.
But we'll see where he, how his game looks at a course he won at last year. Catnip call of the week. A lot of people, before he gets to the 14th hole, will be talking about the line on the 14th hole.
Yeah. They've got there's some new drone AR tracer tech they're debuting that go up and over the corner.
I don't like this land thing.
The red dot.
Yeah. What are we doing?
I mean, we thought Hideki was going in the water at 17, right? You don't like it. It's telegraphing.
Like it.
You want to watch with some
that's the
mystery.
whole point.
Yeah.
When a quarterback throws the pass, you're like, wait, is it going to be completed?
Right. It's a fair, full credit to the advances in technology and all of that stuff, but then like some more holistic view on the product or the television product, maybe something to rethink.
It seems like, people should ask the question with technology. This is the thing that do we actually want this?
Do we need this? Yeah. There's many instances of that. Touch screens are a big one for me. Like, why do we need touch screens on everything now? With the checking in at the airport, everything's a touch screen. Soda machines are a touch screen. It's a disaster. Why can't I just push a button?
I don't want to touch.
Cars, you drive off the road trying to fiddle around with the touch screen. There's a lot of technological advances I'm not sure are needed. Do you have a one and done pick?
What? I have one more player to go.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Last guy, Xander. Because Nosferatu got hacked, we didn't get to talk about the OWGR update.
Got her up to 5th in the world. Holy, that's crazy.
This is where I hope Nosferatu is dealing with his hacking situation. It doesn't seem like an easy thing to recover from.
It's going around the golf circles.
It is.
Graham McDowell got it. Yeah.
I keep getting messages. Don't click on links that people send you. Even if Elon tells you that Twitter messages are the safest place in the world.
Yeah, right.
Just like the Epstein emails. Anyways. Hard right turn.
Xander, on notice.
Xander is 10th in the OWGR. If I told you at the end of 24... this guy wouldn't be a top 10 player in the OWGR that doesn't include Jon Rahm, or Bryson. Wild situation. That's with a win,
at Bay Current.
Bay Current. He's 10th.
Yeah, last year it was sort of like he's injured. It's just a sort of flush it kind of year. And I don't know. It's pretty uninspiring again to start the season. It's early, but you would expect him to come out a little hotter, like ready to rock, and he just hasn't been. I don't know how much on notice he is, but his great asset was just sort of like top 10 machine, top made cut machine, but top 25. He's just not doing that level of consistency, let alone the wins. So yeah, he just fair guy to kind of take a look at.
I think it's just a fascinating moment where it's like, wow, like this guy's going to drop out of the top 10 if Hideki plays a good tournament.
Yeah,
like
that's crazy.
Or Harris English plays a good tournament. Like he is out of the top 10, which is to me a crazy situation given what we were talking about, 18 months ago with him.
What
is he the best player in the world? He's not a top 10
He's not
player.
even in the top 10. So what is your one and done pick? I assume he's not one of them. Where are you looking for Pebble Beach Pro-Am?
I hate where I'm at.
Of course, we have one round at Pebble, one round at Spyglass, and then 2 weekend rounds at Pebble. So we're no longer doing the Monterey or anything else. It's in the amateurs, the celebs are booted at the halfway mark.
I'm exactly where you don't want to be.
What's that?
I'm on tilt. I knew I should have taken Siwoo Kim last week.
Okay.
I should have. I should have done it. I didn't. PJ reaped the rewards. He was worried about it.
It was dicey for a second there.
I used him in something.
He was terrible on Thursday.
Yeah. So you're going Siwoo.
I'm going Siwoo. He's been sensational, and he also the last 2 times at Pebble Beach has finished in the top 15.
Did we get some unsubstantiated intel about Siwoo that we're allowed to share, or we were not allowed to share that?
No, I think we can share that.
Okay. All right. What do you have for us on Siwoo?
He refuses to go back to the broom because he's afraid people will think he's anchoring. He doesn't want any cheating allegations. So he's just
man of honor.
Just man of honor.
Just refusing putting into the appearance of impropriety is what he won't accept.
Putting into the ether.
I love that. All right, you're going with Siwoo.
I'm going with Siwoo.
Okay.
Against my best. I just don't. I don't love doing this.
All right. I'm going to take the Russell Henley. This is a golf course, and we can talk about the course here in a minute, where you kind of just, go and place your ball out in the middle of the fairway. You don't, Russ bust with his 155 mile an hour swing, ball speed. Just place it and then wedge it into a small green, or, high iron into a small green. And I think he's playing decent, playing all right, coming out of the gate, and I think he's a good pick for this venue. Peach, do you have a pick?
I do. Taking a big swing. Big swing. Hogecoin.
Oh my God!
Former champion.
What's the recent Hoge form? I haven't even.
I was just looking at
it. I know he's done decent here in the past, but that felt like distant past.
I had it up. Hold on. Give me a second.
Tom Hogecoin. That is a big swing. I thought you were going to say like Rory or Scotty or something.
T17 last year, T6 the year before that, T48, 112 last 5.
Yeah, how's he in?
I don't know.
Was he top 50 last year?
Top 50?
He's in the field.
I have it right now. Yeah, he was top 50.
I feel disappointed with Hogecoin.
Was playing at BMW last year.
I've just been on him. He's going to be, I keep hoping he makes the Ryder Cup and keeps dropping the ball there.
Yeah, I feel good about the signature events. It's such a clean field, but I just
there needs to be a cut.
Well, there's a cut for the legacy signature events, whatever that means, Bay Hill, Memorial, and Genesis. You could add a few more people. I did a thing with Gary Williams, and he had all these ideas about it. Current number one on Race to Dubai, something like you're building it like it's essentially.
So you think P should be here?
No, well, he couldn't be to this week, but yes, Marco Penge is in because of his number one spot from the end of prior year, or Penge, I should say. You got the 10 from the fall points list. You've got. Top 30. It's just a clean field, but they could probably allow for like 10 more guys via different pathways to build it even stronger. That said, I think it is a system that seems to be working, and there are pathways for the quote unquote mule to walk aboard the Signature Series arc.
And be a part of our game within the game.
Mules versus Brooks. No Brooks this week. Pebble Beach, where are you at with Pebble Beach? They put a new tee box. Doug Ferguson tweeting a picture of new tee box at 6, back up and across the path. It became sort of in vogue and overdone to like kind of brag on and bang on Pebble Beach. I'd say in the last decade, we understand it needs the restoration. It needs this, that, and the other. But like I did some honestly like deep reflection on it this week.
Yeah. What do you got? What
I like on? If it's anywhere that's not next to the ocean, and with this, like it would be pretty just dated. It's been passed by. It is not a great professional golf test. Certainly in January, February, weather looks awful. By the way, we should note weather does not look good.
It's been so good too.
Looks like it's just going to be a wishy-washy weekend and wind and maybe cancellations.
Is that Wyndham music?
I just like, what are we doing anymore? I know it takes driver out of a lot of guys' hands, and is that supposed to be good because every other week is that? It just doesn't seem. Anyways, just these little greens and you hit wedges to them, and I have a great reverence for it, but it is a shame that like what it's become in terms of testing professional golfers. Anyways, and now we've got a tee box at 6 that's halfway to Nevada.
Well, it's one company will tell you there is no distance issue. I think Pebble's really interesting if you get elements.
Sure.
One of the beauties of Pebble is this location right on the coast, and like a moderate wind can make it really tough.
Yeah.
That being said, the game has passed this place by.
Yeah, I didn't want to put you on the spot.
There's nowhere to go with tee boxes, and you see 6. Nothing screams that the game is in balance like, putting out on the 5th green, turning your back to the ocean and walking 225 yards back to the tee, hitting a shot. These guys are walking 450 yards from where they were extra to hit a tee shot. Now, obviously, the 5th green moved. It's the original design disaster was a written piece by Garrett Morrison about the moving of the 5th green by Jack Nicklaus, in order, I think it's Charles Schwab's house.
I think it was that.
But like, nothing screams this game's in balance. There is no distance issue is what, Titleist will tell you. There is none. No issue. But we're building tee boxes further back in the rough on another hole to accommodate
across a cart path.
For somebody, the reason is that guys stopped hitting driver on one of the most iconic par 5s in the world.
Or they were intentionally hitting driver like up off that left bank and just figuring it out from there.
So you think about this is like the way it used to work was like, you could get home in 2, but it's like 2 Herculean efforts where it's a driver and then you're hitting up this mountain with a fairway wood and you're worried about trying to hit the ball high enough to get it up there. Now it's become like less than driver for a lot of guys and a mid iron where that hill is nothing. But again, reminder, many people will tell you that the game is in balance. That there is no distance. There's no distance issue.
Yep.
And then we're talking about literally Pebble Beach, which is a Wrigley Field, a Fenway of baseball, the golf standards. This golf course is so obsolete for modern tour pros. It is a wedge fest, and it sucks that it's a wedge fest. Seeing guys out here hitting mid irons, if you got the game back in balance, like you talk about some of the most iconic, duels in the history of the sport, iconic finishes in the history of the sport happened at Pebble Beach. You have the duel in the sun with Jack and Tom Watson. You have that one event where Tom Kite won that Johnny Miller went nuts and the weather created the situation where Tom Kite ended up winning. This all those iconic finishes happen because the golf course is able to stand up and provide a test for the world's best. That test just isn't really there anymore.
I think like you just, yeah, this is where I was at. I was like, I have great reverence for this place, its history, the views, how it looks, the routing, many of those holes. But like, if you stand there and like look yourself in the mirror, like even the most biggest homer.
I mean, the 18th tee shot's like a perfect example of this.
Yeah. If you stand there honestly and look yourself in the mirror, like you have to like look at what they're doing. They are just kind of placing it out there and then hitting a wedge into a small green. And like, that's not that interesting when you start to compare it to other U.S. Open venues and it's class. Like you have just being honest about it and thinking about it a little bit more. Like, and I think it's kind of in vogue to. I hate to just bagging on it, but thinking of it vis-a-vis the Pebble Beach Pro-Am or professional golf is like a real like harsh reality if you really think about it, even if you can revere it at the same time. That's the event of the week. Nonetheless, our personal event of the week is we're going to be at Space in 2 days.
One thing on Pebble.
Yeah, please
quick.
go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
If you the reality of how golf should work is there should be drivers that are less forgiving and a ball and there should be almost variable balls where it's just like elevation. You go different places. And
interesting.
I think you could make the argument that Pebble should be played at 70%.
Interesting. Yep.
And that would make a 6,900-yard golf course that it is.
Yep.
A really good test. And all of a sudden you start to think about the way holes like 16 would play or a hole, like 2, all of a sudden, would be some interest as even a short par 5. There are just so many holes, like the stretch of 9 and 10 would be insanely difficult. One piece that's exciting, I guess, if you wanted a glass half full with Pebble, the 10th green. Finally, we have green near the ocean.
Yeah.
That green was expanded.
Moved it out a little bit.
That is an exciting development.
That's great.
The old pictures were comical of where it was, in relation to, it's like, oh, there's just, you can see that the green should go here and it's not here. Congrats to Pebble Beach for restoring some of that green. Get that back because it makes that hole way more dynamic. But yeah, I mean, the reality, and this is where it's such a bummer with the USGA and, what's happened with the rollback where it, has now taken a backseat to 2030. I mean, next year's US Open's going to illuminate this huge issue where unless they get weather, it's going to be a foggy, the green's too soft and a wedge fest, and it's going to yield scores and, probably like not the best tournament.
Yeah.
As a U.S. Open venue.
Yep. It's interesting. I'm excited to watch. CBS will be great. It's obviously a highlight of the PGA Tour schedule. I just think, it's something that you really need to assess if you're being realistic and honest about it. And the T-backs at 6 is the most recent sort of damning piece of evidence, going 250 yards up and then 250 yards
Think
back.
about it.
And then are they even
yards.
hitting at the fairway anymore still there? Or are they still going to just send it up like
probably
try to bank it around that cart path grandstand mix of stuff on the left there and then go up the hill? All right. That's the AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am. Our event of the week is the live shotgun start episode at Space. That's Thursday night. What time is the doors, PJ? 7 Central, 7 local time. I suppose if you're in Chicago, you'd want to know the local time, not Eastern time. We're going to open doors. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk. We've been doing some research here on flashback, some of our favorite SGS moments, which were particularly painful to relive on some instances. The favorite being, most dire circumstances, lost recordings, things like that. We're going to go through that. KVV is going to jump in, do a segment. So we're very excited. I think there are some tickets still available. The Space website in Evanston. We will be there at 7, hang out for an hour, then record and let it rip. So looking forward to that. All right, continuing on with our schedule for the week. On the
books are in stock too.
What is? Oh, that's true. That's right.
Not in stock. They're pre-order. The second wave of books.
There's a lot of demand for the Friday golf coffee table book, whatever you want to call it. It's beautiful, beautiful book. And people wanted that. We ran out around ahead of the holidays, or we closed the pre-order window. That is now open again, and we will get you a book. A lot of demand for that. They are available. Go to the Pro Shop at the Fried Egg. Those are back. All right, continuing on with our schedule for the week. We have the Chubb Classic on the PGA Tour Champions. This is at Tiburon Golf Course in Naples, Florida. Notables are Davis Love III, Corey Pavin, Bernhard Langer, and defending champion Justin Leonard are in the field. Oh, here are some other notables. Stephen Ames, Angel Cabrera, the Mechanic, Leonard, DL3, and then David Toms. PJ, do you have anything you want to share with us about the Chubb Classic after about a month off on the Champs Tour?
Well, astute listeners might remember that this Chubb Classic win is what propelled Justin Leonard to make the cut at Portrush last year.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah,
because he won the Chubb.
His first ever Champs Tour win. So he needed that to kind of kickstart his season, and then. Did not appreciate Joseph's question about if he could find himself contending in an Open Championship again one day.
Did not like.
But I did just want to add that Bernie is the favorite to win this golf tournament, betting favorite, which
public money.
We talked about Scotty and how amazing it is that he's like half the odds of the next best person in the field. I think it's just amazing that Bernie is still out there. Old compared to even the olds, and still number one.
That's
Love it.
Incredible. Incredible career.
It's crazy that he is the favorite. That's the public money. They see Champs Tour, they're like, well, I must bet Bernhard Langer. He kills it out there. That's what they do. That is on Golf Channel in the afternoon. And then we have the Ladies European Tour as the PIF Saudi Ladies International. It's coffee golf, 5:30 Wednesday through Friday, 4:30 on Saturday to finish. You have number one player in the world, Gino, Charlie Hull, Daniel Kane, Rio Takada, and others at the Ladies International, Saudi Ladies International. Speaking of Saudi, LIV is taking the little puddle jumper from Riyadh to Adelaide this week on their worldwide tour. So that continues down at, this is basically their event of the year, LIV Adelaide. They've really found a good market and a great crowd and a great atmosphere, and it's profitable.
Think about the atmosphere there with Ripper coming in off their first win of the year.
Elvis. Yep.
I mean, this is yep. You've seen it go big at Adelaide. This is going to be the
they're the favorite. Anything. Yep, they're number one in the standings, number one in their hearts down there in Adelaide. This is at the Grange Golf Club. This is 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. This is Eastern Time, United States, on Fox 1, which I think is their streaming service. And they get an hour on FS1 from midnight to 1. So just late night golf on FS1, FS2. Check your local listings, like beginning essentially at like 8 or 9, going to about 1 a.m. It comes on Saturday. Is there some Big East hoops or something Saturday night? They play at 11 p.m. They get Big Fox, 11 p.m. Saturday night on Big Fox till 1 a.m. Sunday on Fox for LIV Adelaide at the Grange Golf Club. We were recording early.
Sound like my daughter. Big Fox and Little Fox. My daughter, if there's two kids at school that have the same name, she just calls one little and one big.
I love that.
But then she'll say, don't tell him I said this.
Yeah.
But that's the way we refer to him.
Sure. We recorded early on Sunday without our OWGR input. For all the bitching about getting only 10 spots, some significant movements. Elvis Smylie goes from 134 to 77. John Rahm went from 97 to 67 for runner-up. You had, Lucas Herbert, Brandon Gray, like they jumped 50 spots for finishing in the last position that was eligible. That is real movement. I think that's a real carrot. If you were pondering LIV, if Elvis Smylie can win and go jump 70 some spots and Rahm goes 30 spots for runner-up, I think that's significant. I don't get the whole whining because
this is a tour of whiners.
Yeah. Well,
I needed Peter Uline's thoughts on this because that's who I always go to when there's a hot topic in golf. He was good. He was good. He was level-headed. Yeah.
He was just like, look, we have more today than we did yesterday. And I don't understand the complaining.
I saw the winner gets 23 points. Did you see this?
This in Adelaide?
This week.
Okay.
In Qatar, he gets 20. in my mind, we're the second best tour in the world right now. Obviously, there are things that probably need to get worked out with the top 10 or whatever. But the reality is we have more points today than we had yesterday. I'm all for it.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's the right mentality.
You know who maybe wishes they did? You know who got jammed? Is Thomas Dietrich, who obviously still has some residual standing from winning last year and just fresh off of he finished 7th and went from 62 to 63. He lost a spot.
That's probably because of the aging of the Scottsdale.
Falling out of Scottsdale.
Oh man!
God, what is going on
phone
here?
Calls all day.
So that's your LIV OWGR update. LIV Adelaide. I got nothing. Not a lot of news. TGL happened last night. I was traveling. Neil Shipley had the first ace. I don't even understand who's on this team anymore. I was watching them jump around. I was like, it's not Lowry. That's not Wyndham Clark jumping on his
Luke
back.
Clanton and Minwoo.
Did we know that was happening?
Yeah.
What is this?
It's the next generation. I don't think it's a coincidence that this is on the PGA Tour's website homepage right now.
Neil Shipley.
Those three, the next generation.
Do you have a conspiracy theory about
I do
that?
have a conspiracy theory. Neil Shipley has been, prominently featured in PGA Tour content. Maybe not, coinciding with his on-course play.
He was really good on the Korn Ferry.
He was really good on the Korn Ferry Tour, but the whole, Oakmont was beat to hell. He literally didn't qualify, and hasn't done much this year.
There's a full swing episode about him.
Was the sim maybe rigged for the new golden boy of the PGA Tour?
Oh,
the Tony Finau of the next generation, perhaps.
He had some quote. He's like, I've never had a hole in one like this. Like,
nobody does.
Screen. So you think it was maybe cooked to provide an extra bit of PR boost?
Also was told that Tommy Fleetwood was like shipping wedges like 40 yards over a green. Obviously, the sim stinks. That's not like news to anybody.
Yeah, sure.
But Tommy was having a rough go of it. This is literally Tommy Fleetwood, not a guy that misses generally like that. So,
well, your conspiracy theory was the media center's gain as he bought Mike's Hard for the media. Mike's Hard, a round of Mike's Hard for his ace.
I was talking to some TGL insiders that were proclaiming Neil Shipley as like the superstar that the league needs.
Okay.
And I just reminded them, I said, well, let's just keep in mind, he needs to play well in the real world in order to keep his card so that he can play you have
to be a PGA Tour member in good standing, as we learned.
Yeah. So he, this is early. He was great last year on the Korn Ferry Tour.
Yeah.
Bright young star. I don't want it to mean, but I just want to point out he's played in 4 cuts. He's made 1 cut, and his earnings on the year are $19,000. So it's very early. But before we get too, attached to Neil Shipley and the TGL in the SoFi Dome, let's just keep in mind he needs to have a good year on the golf course, and maybe this shouldn't be the place that he's spending a lot of time in order to have success on the golf course.
I don't understand this portal. Like, what happened at the game that I love? You have your 4 guys, and that's your crew, and you ride with them, and all of a sudden, Shipley's involved, Finau's involved, Luke Clanton's involved.
Half of these guys don't even play anymore. Like, literally are not on their teams.
May or may not play anymore.
Yeah, Adam Scott hasn't shown up once this year. No. Like, what are we doing? Chris Gotterup just gets plucked out of nowhere on his way to top 5 player in the world, gets picked up by the best team in the league. Where was the waiver process?
Also think about Detroit. Detroit probably would have loved to build around Gotterup.
Oh my God, that's a centerpiece. Is he protected in the expansion draft?
Yeah, that's true. All right, that's it. The Bay beats LA.
Again, we've talked about this at length with LIV. And, this is where I have to raise questions about the WTGL. Again, what are we doing? You haven't figured out the TGL league.
I agree.
Like, get that. Figure out how to explain, like, this willy-nilly free agent process where it's just like, this is supposed to be a legitimate.
That's the thing that you say about LIV. Like, if you're going to have teams, you have to actually have teams. Like, this is like that. If you're trying to do the team thing that people recognize from other sports, you have to actually do it. And they're not actually doing it. They're just, whoever wants to play can play, whatever.
You know what? Yeah. Stop asking questions. Just sit there and sip your Mike's Hard. Stop.
We should just be happy it exists.
That's fair.
generally the way
appreciate it.
that people in golf say. Just be happy this exists.
Neil Shipley's ace is leading PGA Tour.com. Top story in a week of signature events. It's just, I don't know. Let's settle down. The Bay beat LA. There we go. I don't have anything else. Oh, one more thing.
We're going to be in the TGL Dome.
With maybe, yeah, a couple weeks. We may be visiting the swap, going back down to the swap.
I'm excited. I'm excited to be in the back of the TGL Dome.
Some content. We may be going down.
I gotta get my power rankings updated.
Yeah, you better check on that. On that. One more bit of Pebble news. Roger Maltby is back. They got him on like a 2-way 10-day contract or something.
He's got like 5 events.
Like what? Like come on. Anyways, I should have noted that as news. All right, I think that does it.
We got to explore Chicago.
We got to go check it out. We got to go put PJ on the Ferris wheel and then the batting cage and all these other things. You ready to go, Peach?
I'm ready. I'm happy to be here.
All right. Fabulous. I got to go back to Capital One Cafe and get another cup of coffee. We will talk to you on Thursday at Space. See you then.